Spirit Airlines just collapsed overnight. And if you think that this is about one cheap airline disappearing, then you're not paying attention. This is about to hit your pockets, your travel, and the entire airline industry. After 30 plus years in the game, Spirit Airlines is shutting down operation. Flights canceled, customers stranded, and just like that, one of the biggest ultra-low cost carriers is gone.
Spirit, believe it or not, started flying in 1983. I think it was called Charter Air at the time. And in 1992, it changed its name to Spirit. So we've been in the air since 1983. What is that? 43 years. And unfortunately, that's over.
Now here's what really happened. We all know that Spirit built its whole business on being the cheapest option in the sky. Charge you for everything else. Bags, seats, even damn near breathing. That model only works when costs stay low. But in this economy, we know that everything went up. And let's start out with fuel prices. Fuel prices are up. Operation costs is up. Competition is way worse. You got airlines like Delta and United offering cheaper economy options. They were bleeding money. Now think about this. They just canceled Spirit overnight. You got people that had tickets to go places. You got people that was ready to come back from places that they went via Spirit. So what's going to happen? Are they going to get reimbursed? Will Spirit be issuing refunds? Because Spirit ain't even a company no more. It's over. And we already know the reason it's all over. It's all over because of the economy. This ain't the only thing that's going to be closing. It's going to be a lot of shit to follow behind Spirit. Mark my words. I'm out.
The White House never wanted to save Spirit Airlines because Spirit Airlines was the only flying option for low-income people, and Republicans hate low-income people. You know how I know? Because research literally shows that just Spirit Airlines' existence in a marketplace lowers fares in nearly every case. For example, a 2016 study documented a Houston to Kansas City route that was serviced only by United Airlines. Tickets on average went for $300 until 2014, when Spirit Airlines also began the service on that route. Spirit offered fares closer to $90, and United was forced to bring down the average fare down to $180, and the effect was seen again and again in routes across the country. And anytime Spirit left a specific market, the average fares of other airlines jumped 23%, or roughly $60 for a round-trip flight. Meaning these billion-dollar airline corporations need Spirit Airlines to fucking go away in order for them to make record profits off of our backs. And by the way, there's no doubt in my motherfucking mind that the video sensationalizing Spirit Airline passenger fights, or bad customer service at the airport gate, or turbulence on the planes was a psyop by billion-dollar airline corporations to suppress Spirit Airline ticket sales. And I believe this for two very important reasons. Number one, because bullshit aside, Spirit Airlines had a flawless flying record. They have never had a fatal passenger accident in all the years they've been in business, so none of the other airlines had anything on them. But for two, interestingly enough, the potential bailout that the White House was going to do for Spirit Airlines apparently sparked backlash from both the airline industry and among Republicans in Congress, because they argued that previous bailouts have been in support of all U.S. airlines, not a single carrier or group of airlines. So to be clear, these billion-dollar airline companies were mad that they weren't getting bailout money that they didn't even fucking need, and their tantrum, along with Republicans, ended affordable airline travel for low-income and working-class folks forever. That's what the fuck happened.
Conversations occasionally. A lot of crazy stuff has happened, but it's funny as we sit here, I'll speak for myself. I don't remember any of the bad times, just the good ones. So, Spirit, believe it or not, started flying in 1983. I think it was called Charter Air at the time. And in 1992, it changed its name to Spirit. So we've been in the air since 1983. What is that? 43 years. And unfortunately, that's over. So thank you for your support over the years. And onward and upward, right?
This morning, Spirit Airlines is shutting down in a move that will affect thousands of scheduled flights and nearly as many employees. Spirit, which has struggled to maintain consistent profitability since the COVID-19 pandemic, had been looking to emerge from its second bankruptcy in less than a year. Those plans were derailed amid soaring jet fuel costs sparked by the outbreak of the war in Iran. So here's what you need to know. The struggling low-cost airline has stopped all flights. The airline says passengers who were expecting to travel should not go to the airport. Spirit will automatically process refunds for any flights purchased through using a credit or debit card, but passengers who did not book directly will need to request a refund through their travel agent.
They are trying to ensure that traveling is only reserved for the well-off, the wealthy, the high middle class groups. They don't want anybody else traveling anymore. This is why you have seen places like Las Vegas increase their prices. This is why you've seen places like Disney World increase their prices. They are no longer catering to the middle class, right? When they check their charts, when they're looking at their numbers, when they're looking at their revenue, they're seeing who's actually buying and who's actually not. When they're looking at
all sparked by the out
Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, that's giving all praise to the Most High, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom to the 144,000. And real quick, man, I just want to go into this video you just seen. All right, this guy, the After Pill, I just found this channel the other day, but he made some good points in this video, man. All right, pretty much how they're, they're going to stop the poor from being able to, travel. Okay, being able to move freely. They're restricting the poor more and more every day. And this travel airline, Spirit, was a very low income, low budget airline. All right, but now they're getting rid of that because they're not going to allow the poor to move around freely as you've been doing, man. All right, which goes to show you that this world is changing as we know it. Life as we know it is changing. And this world as we know it is changing. It's not coming back, man, okay, to be quite frank with you. Let's grab this real quick, though. This is, in Salakia, it's going to be all over the place. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31. And they that use this world is not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. And that's the thing. This world as we know it is passing away, man. It's changing drastically, okay? Everything that we grew up knowing and, experiencing is fading away, all right? And a new reality is being formed where you're going to be a digital slave, man, all right? I saw a video. I got to do a video on it. I got it in the archive somewhere about how Walmart is getting digital, and I'm sure other stores as well, but they're getting digital price tags where basically, they'll change the price tag determine on who's looking at it, So you imagine if you're poor or you're, not in that, you're against this system, they might make the prices higher for you, pretty much just pushing you out of society anyways. And eventually you're going to have to take the MOTB in order to travel, in order to buy these things. Okay, you're going to have that mark of the beast. So the prophets, we warn you of this time we're coming into, and have already entered into. But a lot of our people are still confused, still thinking it's staying sweet, still playing games. Okay, it's all playing out before your eyes, man. These devils have agendas. All right, they're bringing in the last bit of Agenda 2025, and then they have Agenda 2030. Okay, so they have plans. It's bringing that back. It says, and those in the AMP, and those who use the world taking advantage of its opportunities as though they did not make full use of it. For the outward form of this world, its present social and material nature is passing away. Right. So this world as we know it is changing before our eyes, man. That's why we tell you, Jakes, to repent. That's why we tell you, Jakes, to come back to YAHWASHI, to get right, okay? Because, there it is. Something as simple as getting on a plane and traveling somewhere is going to be a thing of the past. It says, 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Yeah, the poor against the rich, all right, or the rich against the poor, all right. This is why you have these elites. They're going into them bunkers. They're going underground. They understand that these everyday Americans are going to get upset, Klaus Schwab said that. So lucky it's early. But Klaus Schwab said that. He said, you got to prepare for an angrier world. Okay, we got to prepare for an angrier world. So yeah, expect an angrier world. People are going to start getting pissed as they're realizing that their freedoms are being stripped away from them, and they're going to start lashing out. Okay, getting violent. That's why you had those warehouses burning down, and so on and so on. It says, and there shall be, it's like it says, and one people shall fight against another, and swords in their hands. What's the modern day sword? The gun. Okay. For there shall be sedition among men, and then they gave you a test of this with the C9. Remember the C9? Nobody could travel. Everybody was on lockdown. But basically, we're coming into another lockdown, an energy crisis lockdown. This is all done by design. All right. Let me see 1 second.
Outbreak of the war in Iran.
Lord willing, we filming good, man. Because these videos been tripping lately, which is Satan. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. People are going to get so desperate. It's going to get so bad out here, bro. And that's what I've been telling the Akim. That's what I've been keeping in mind of myself, that things are about to skyrocket here, bro. And if you're not trying to put yourself in a better situation or position, consciously, you're going to be in a bad case, man. All right, because a lot of stuff that you may buy on a day-to-day or weekly basis, it's about to go up. Everything is about to go up. Everything is about to skyrocket. The price on everything is about to go crazy. All right, they call it hyperinflation. We're about to see that, okay, very soon, or within the next couple of weeks, if not days. It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands, and there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. People going to start doing whatever they feel. Okay, acting upon their emotions. If they feeling tense, angry, pissed, anxiety, having anxiety, they're going to start acting upon that in that moment. All right, and they're not going to be concerned about going to jail, be concerned about standing before a judge. They're not going to be concerned about that. Here's the point, though. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah, you're not going to be able to travel to the next city, okay? Whether you want to take a plane or whatever. That's going to be a thing of the past, man. All right? I did a video last week where it was going into how Germany and other European states are considering banning military-aged men from traveling. You can't travel for, a period of time, or you can't travel for more than 3 months or something like that. Go to show you that they understand what's coming, and they're getting ready to shut this place down. All right. So, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy the houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. And we come into a time of great tribulation, man. Let's go right here. All right, because this devil knows his time is short, so he's going to do whatever he can to try to, get control of the situation. It says, Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So this man knows his time is short. He's about to get ready to come down with great wrath, man. Okay, bringing all hell upon you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Indians, and even his own people. All right? Well, we tell you to repent and seek YAHAWASHI. Okay, because this man is about to lock everything down. All right? He's about to lock everything down. And you're not going to be able to just, do what you want to do anymore very soon. All right, let's grab that too. Because basically they're turning America, and really the world, but our focus is on America. They're turning America to one big prison camp. All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 9. It says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. Who's the ones that's in poverty? The Israelites, man. When they go to talking about attacking the poor and attacking the middle class, they talking about the Israelites. Okay, for the most part, it says, but thou art rich. How are we rich in spirit, man? Because what we about to receive the kingdom. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, which is the ones, today that's called themselves Jews, are the ones that's really running the show. They're the ones that's got everybody, poor and destitute. It says, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Yeah, the wicked is in power in these last days. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil. It's a lot. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Yeah, so we might be, thrown into these prisons, or even, if it's a lockdown where you can't leave your house, your home becomes a prison, man. Whatever the Lord sees, fit, But the point is, we're coming into a time where we're not going to be able to just freely go about our day, freely, travel here and travel there. That's becoming a thing of the past. Okay. Let's grab this too. It says Proverbs chapter 29:2. Let's grab this in the NLT AMP as well. Proverbs 29:2. So look here. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. You got people mourning, catching hell, complaining all over TikTok. Why? Because the wicked is in power, the wicked is bearing rule. In the AMP, it says, when the righteous are in authority and become great people, the people rejoice. But when the wicked man, Esau is this wicked man. It says, but when the wicked man, the people, so like when the wicked man rules, the people groan and sigh. Yeah, because you're catching hell. A man who loves skillful and godly wisdom makes his father joyful, but he who associates with prostitutes wastes his wealth. That's something else. But you get the picture, man. Okay? They about to make this thing called life here in America real uncomfortable. Let's grab this real quick in the G&T. Same thing. All right? In the G&T, it says, 2nd Ezra chapter 15 in verse, let's start at verse 11. It says, I will use all my strength and power to bring them out of that land. I will bring disasters upon the Egyptians as I did earlier, and I will destroy their country. The whole land will be mourning. It will be shaken to its foundation when I, the Lord, strike it and pound it. And that's what the Lord about to do to America. The farmers will mourn because their seeds will fail to sprout, and their trees will be destroyed with blight, hail, and terrible storms. Yeah, these farmers are, there's this, in the news with Trump about they need help. Okay, they have no crops, and here it is. The crops supposed to be getting ready to harvest, and they ain't got no crops. So what does that mean for these Americans? There's gonna be a shortage of food out here. A famine is coming. All right. It says the world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Yeah, there's destruction that's coming, man. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations, and there will be great political turmoil. And we are already seeing that happening, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government lawlessness. Okay, there will no longer be free access to the cities. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to just freely go into these cities, man. All right, that's gonna be a thing of the past too. Free access to these cities, to be able to just walk in freely and to this city or that city, to travel freely as you want. That's gonna be a thing of the past, because the struggle of power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. Yeah, struggle for power. Okay, these elites are trying to stay in power, man, and they're losing that power. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna start lashing out, becoming more violent. Okay, it says, driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. And that's what it's coming down to. People talking about why they can't travel, they can't go on this trip and that trip. And they said you got people who have flights set up, they got canceled. They're gonna refund you. So you thought you was going here or going there, you ain't going. And then you try to book another flight, you can't afford it. You see, the flights are gonna quadruple the prices that they was when you first originally bought the ticket. So now you can't afford to go on that trip. Yeah, I told you this time was coming, man. All right. say. Lord, when we listen to edifying to those who elect, double honors to our teachers, the elders and apostles, Great Millstone, who taught us His truth and truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to those who elect scattered abroad. Shalom 244,000. We almost out of here. Shalom.